When you let go of control, life begins to whisper to you. Not with thunder, not with fireworks, but with the quietest moments. A soft wind against your skin, the way sunlight dances on your floor, a stranger's unexpected kindness. You've spent so long trying to hold everything together, haven't you? Gripping relationships so they don't fall apart, managing people's perceptions so they won't leave, tightening your fists around every outcome so you won't feel that sinking fear of failure. But here's the truth. Carl Jung invites us into what you control begins to control you, and what you fear to lose ends up owning you. Shadow work starts when you ask yourself, why do I need to control so much? What am I afraid will break if I stop? The paradox is this: the moment you surrender, the moment you release your white-knuckled grip, life rushes in with its surprises. Yes, sometimes with loss, sometimes with pain, but also with wonder, with connection, with unexpected joy. It's the difference between holding your breath and finally exhaling. You are not here to micromanage life. You are here to meet it, raw and unguarded. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, it grows stronger." So, when you try to control life, when you resist uncertainty, when you cling to outcomes, you're not calming the storm, you're feeding it. Look closely. Who are you when things slip out of your hands? Do you panic? Do you rush to fix, to explain, to hold it all together? That's the shadow at work, the part of you that fears. I'm not safe unless I control. But here's the crack in the wall. When you loosen your grip, when you let life unfold, you start to notice something miraculous. You don't fall apart. The world doesn't collapse. Instead, you uncover a hidden strength. You begin to trust, not blindly, not recklessly, but deeply. Because you learn, you were never meant to carry it all. And as you stop controlling, life surprises you with synchronicities, with grace, with people you never expected, with doors you didn't even know were waiting. This is where individuation begins, not in perfection, but in surrender. Let me ask you this: what are you so afraid will happen if you stop controlling? Will they leave? Will you fail? Will you lose everything you worked so hard for? Look deeper. That fear, it's not about them. It's not about the Jeep or the relationship or the plan. It's about the part of you that doesn't believe you'll survive disappointment. Shadow work asks you to meet that part, to sit with it, to whisper, "I see you. I know you're scared, but I'm not abandoning you." When you let go, you don't become reckless. You become real. You allow people to show up, or not. You allow life to move, with or without your permission. And here's the beauty. The right people stay. The right opportunities unfold. The right timing reveals itself. So maybe today, you can take one small breath and let go, just a little, And if this speaks to you, drop a comment below. I'm ready to let go. You've been taught that control means strength, that holding it all together means you're responsible. But what if I told you control is often just fear, dressed in a clever disguise? Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to function, to be accepted, to avoid rejection. And behind that mask, there's a trembling part of you, terrified of being seen as weak. But listen closely. Real strength isn't in controlling the storm. It's in standing inside it with open hands. It's saying, I trust myself to face whatever comes. When you release the need to manage everything, you create space. Space for people to rise. Space for you to rest. Space for life to surprise you. You stop performing. You start living. And yes, it's scary. It's raw. It's uncertain. But in that uncertainty, you meet the real you. Not the persona, not the mask, but the one beneath, waiting, aching to finally breathe. So, the next time you feel that old urge to control, pause. Ask yourself, who am I trying to protect? And can I offer that part of me just a little grace? Here's a tender truth. The more you try to control love, the more it slips through your fingers. You can't force someone to stay. You can't make someone see your worth. You can't bend life to fit your plans. But here's what you can do. You can open. You can soften. You can let life and people reveal themselves. Carl Jung teaches that individuation is the journey of becoming whole, not by perfecting, but by integrating, by embracing both your light and your shadow. So when you let go, you make room for something breathtaking, authentic connection. The people who stay, stay freely. The moments that unfold feel alive. And you start to taste freedom. It's not the freedom of having no problems. It's the freedom of knowing, I don't have to control everything to be okay. If this speaks to you, drop a comment below with the word expectations. Let's fill this space with a wave of release. Notice this. The moment you let go of control, something inside you softens. At first, it feels like weakness, like you're giving up. But stay with it. That softness is the doorway to strength, because real strength isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go. Carl Jung reminds us, our psyche is like an energy system. Every time you fight what is, you drain yourself. Every time you resist change, you exhaust your soul. But when you release, when you stop clenching your fists at life, something shifts. You conserve energy. You become clear-eyed. You start to see what's truly yours to carry and what was never yours to begin with. And here's the miracle. In that moment of surrender, life rearranges itself. People surprise you. Opportunities appear. Paths open you never imagined. Letting go doesn't mean apathy. It means trust. It means standing rooted, even as the winds of change blow. So today, ask yourself gently, Where am I forcing? Where can I soften? Just a little. Think about this. How much of your suffering comes not from what happened, but from your fight against it? Carl Jung taught, whatever you resist persists. When you resist pain, it deepens. When you resist change, it hardens. When you resist uncertainty, it devours your peace. But when you soften into what is, when you stop the inner war, you become free. The shadow within you, the part that clings to control, is just trying to protect you. It learned long ago that control felt safer than chaos. Shadow work is not about killing that part. It's about loving it, listening to it, and gently leading it home. When you stop fighting, you reclaim your energy. You reclaim your presence. Suddenly, you become the calm in the storm. You become the quiet center, even as life swirls around you. So today, can you offer yourself a moment to breathe into the chaos, to whisper to your shadow, I see you, I'm here, we can do this together. There's a quiet magic that happens when you stop trying to control how others see you. You stop explaining yourself. You stop over-apologizing. You stop bending just to fit their expectations. And in that space, something breathtaking unfolds. You discover who you are when no one is watching. You discover the version of you that doesn't need to be edited, polished, or approved. At first, it's lonely. You'll wonder, will they still love me if I stop performing? Will they still stay if I stop giving so much? But over time, you'll notice something. The people who matter don't need you to shrink or stretch for them. They stand beside you in your rawness, your silence, your truth, and those who drift away. They were never really seeing you. They were in love with the role you played. So today, can you give yourself permission to step off the stage, to rest, to breathe, to simply be? Because the most beautiful connections are the ones where you are fully, unapologetically yourself. You were not born to hold everyone's pieces. You were not born to fix every problem, to carry every burden, to soothe every discomfort around you. And yet, somewhere along the way, you learned that love meant overextending, that worth meant sacrifice, that safety meant control. But here's what you're remembering now. You are allowed to put things down. You are allowed to rest your heart. You are allowed to let people hold their own weight. When you stop controlling, you give others a sacred chance, a chance to rise, a chance to fail, a chance to meet themselves in their own struggle. You stop robbing them of their own growth, and you start reclaiming your own. So today, as you notice yourself stepping in to rescue, to fix, to smooth things over, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, I am not here to save everyone. I am here to walk beside them. That's the quiet revolution of letting go. Sometimes, the hardest part of letting go is facing the silence that follows. When you stop controlling, when you step back, when you stop fixing and pleasing, there's an emptiness that rises. At first, it feels unbearable. You wonder, did I do the right thing? Am I losing them? Am I selfish? But stay a little longer. Breathe into that silence, and something unexpected begins to happen. You start to hear your own voice, the one that's been drowned out by noise, by demands, by the chaos of holding everyone else up. You start to sense what you actually need, what you truly desire, what matters to you, not just to them. Carl Jung reminds us, to become whole, you must face the parts of yourself you've long abandoned. This silence is not punishment, it's invitation. So today, when you feel the urge to fill the space, to rush back into fixing, pause. Let the silence teach you. Let it soften you. Let it lead you back home. As you walk this path of letting go, you will meet resistance, not just from the world, but from within. Parts of you will protest, parts shaped by old wounds, by childhood fears, by the belief that love must be earned. You may hear that voice whisper, if I stop controlling, they'll leave. If I set boundaries, I'll be alone. If I choose myself, I'm selfish. But here's the truth. Those are echoes from the past. They are not the voice of your present self, and they are certainly not the voice of your future. When you let go, you are not abandoning love. You are making space for a love that is free, honest, and mutual. The love that survives control is the love that was meant to stay. So today, when the old stories rise, when the panic bubbles up, pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I am safe to let go. I am safe to trust. I am safe to become. Letting go is not a one-time act. It's a practice, a choice you make, moment by moment. Some days, you'll feel light. You'll feel spacious, free, alive. Other days, the old pull will return, the urge to control, the ache to hold on, the fear of losing ground. This is normal. Healing is not a straight line. On the days you fall back into control, don't shame yourself. Don't call it failure. Call it remembering. Because each time you notice yourself clenching, each time you soften back into trust, you are rewiring old patterns. You are practicing a new dance with life, with love, with yourself. And slowly, gently, the gaps between fear and freedom widen. The space between control and surrender expands. So today, when you notice yourself tensing, gripping, trying to force something into place, pause. Place a hand on your heart. Whisper, I remember. I'm learning. I can let go. Again. There's a sacred shift that happens when you let go. You stop chasing what was never yours. You stop clinging to what wants to leave. You stop begging the world to give you what you already carry inside. And in that space, you meet yourself. Not the you shaped by survival, not the you polished to please, but the quiet, steady you who has been waiting all along. You start to see that your worth was never tied to your performance, that your value was never dependent on being useful, that you, simply by existing, are enough. This is where true freedom lives. So when you feel the temptation to reach, to grab, to hold too tightly, pause. Let life come to you. Let love find you without force. Because the love, the peace, the belonging you long for doesn't live in control. It lives in surrender. There's a moment when you realize you no longer need to chase. You stop running after people who don't choose you. You stop proving yourself to those who refuse to see you. You stop bending over backwards just to earn a place in someone's life. And in that quiet moment, you exhale. You feel the tension leave your shoulders. You feel the knot in your chest loosen. You feel free. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you let love be a gift, not a transaction. You start to trust that what's meant for you cannot be forced, cannot be chased, cannot be controlled. You start to believe that the right people, the right moments, the right paths will recognize your heart without you having to shout. So today, as you feel that urge to run after, to explain, to win someone back, pause. Remind yourself, I am worthy of love that stays. I am worthy without the chase. And then comes the unexpected beauty of solitude. Not the kind that feels like punishment, but the kind that feels like coming home. When you let go of control, when you stop filling every space with noise, you start to hear the music beneath it all. You start to notice the way light filters through your window, the way your breath moves in your chest, the way peace hums in the quiet corners of your day. You rediscover that you are not empty without others. You are spacious. You are not lonely in your own company. You are whole. In solitude, you reconnect with the forgotten parts of yourself. The playful part, the creative part, the part that dreams without limits. So today, give yourself the gift of solitude, even for a moment. Step outside. Breathe the air. Feel the world without trying to hold it all. Because when you let go, you make room for life to dance with you. There's something no one tells you about letting go. It's not just about release. It's about rebirth. When you stop trying to control everything, when you surrender the tight grip on life, you don't just lose, you gain. You gain clarity. You gain spaciousness. You gain access to parts of yourself that have been buried under obligation, worry, and fear. You begin to remember what lights you up, what makes your body hum with aliveness, what makes your soul sigh in relief. And here's the quiet miracle. When you stop micromanaging life, life begins to rise to meet you. New people appear. Unexpected opportunities knock. Joy sneaks in through the cracks. It's not magic, it's alignment. Because when you are no longer tangled in the web of control, you become available to life's flow. So today, ask yourself softly, What joy have I been postponing by holding on so mately? And maybe, just maybe, give yourself permission to welcome it in. And here's the part that may surprise you. When you let go, you don't become detached. You become deeply connected. Because control was never about love. It was about fear. But surrender is an act of trust. It says, I believe in the goodness of what's meant for me. I believe I can face whatever comes. I believe I am strong enough to allow life to unfold. Suddenly, conversations become more honest. Relationships become more authentic. Your connection to yourself deepens. You begin to listen, not just to words, but to energy. Not just to plans, but to intuition. And here's the magic. When you live this way, life becomes less about survival and more about creation. So today, take a small risk. Speak from your heart. Step into the unknown. Let yourself be surprised. Because control limits, but surrender expands. And then comes the moment of quiet power. You realize that you no longer react to every wave. You no longer grasp at every disappearing thread. You no longer chase what turns away. Instead, you stand still, rooted, present. You let what wants to go, go. You let what wants to stay, stay. You trust that your life is unfolding as it's meant to. This is the birth of sovereignty, not the hard, armored sovereignty that pushes people away, but the soft, steady sovereignty that says, I know who I am. I know what matters to me. I no longer abandon myself to hold what's falling apart. In this space, you discover peace, not the peace of a perfect life, but the peace of a grounded heart. So today, feel your feet on the earth. Feel your breath in your body. Feel your own presence, steady, unwavering, enough. This is the reward of letting go. And yes, letting go will cost you. It may cost you relationships built on dependency. It may cost you roles you no longer wish to play. It may cost you the illusion that you can control everything. But what you gain is priceless. You gain yourself. You gain mornings that feel light on your skin. You gain conversations where your voice is true. You gain nights where you sleep without armor. You stop living on a battlefield. You start living in a home, the home of your own being. So if today you feel the ache of loss, the sting of uncertainty, the tremble of change, hold yourself close. Whisper, this is not the end. This is the clearing. This is where new life begins. Because letting go is not just about releasing. It's about making space for what was meant to find you all along. And here you are, at the edge of the old life, stepping gently into the new. You've walked through fear. You've sat with the ache of letting go. You've learned to stand without clutching at the world. And now, you meet yourself, whole, alive, enough. This is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning. A life where you are no longer bound by control, by fear, by the need to prove. A life where you breathe, where you love, where you create from freedom. So as you stand here today, I invite you to honor how far you've come. And if this journey has touched your heart, if it has awakened something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Click like. Share this with someone who needs the courage to let go. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you're ready to release. And if you want to keep walking this path together, subscribe to the channel. Because this is only the beginning.